Hey Edouard, thanks for joining us to share your story.
Thank you for
about
inviting.
about how you build the community and what you do at Wagon and some of your day-to-day work and what got you into this job, right? You know, why you're so excited about it. Let's start with where you come from.
Okay, so I'm French. I studied business in Paris, and after that I wanted to be in tech, and so I started to build a web agency with two co-founders, one developer and one who was a designer. And I was handling the business operations, and I really found it difficult to work with developers without having enough technical knowledge. So after a year and a half, we decided to separate because I wanted to get this knowledge, and this is when I joined the Wagon bootcamp, which is a 2 months intensive program to get this skills, technical skills and technical knowledge. And I loved it so much that I joined the company afterwards.
Awesome. So you wanted to feel the pain that your customers in your past life fell through and learn the technology yourself and essentially contribute to a much bigger mission per se.
At first, I just wanted to get this knowledge to be able to better understand how tech teams are working, what's their day-to-day job, and how my goal was to be more efficient and effective in this environment. But in the end, I was so passionate about what Le Wagon was doing, which is bringing these technical skills to entrepreneurs and creative people, that I just wanted to join this adventure. And since then, it's been 4 years that I'm now handling community operations over there.
Yeah, tell me more about the role, the job that you do day to day.
Yeah, so it's, as I said, it's a 2 months really intense program. People get there to get these technical skills, but it's also really intense human experience. So all these students they're between 18 and 65 years old, and they are transitioning towards new jobs, new opportunities in the tech world. Yeah. So it's really important for us to help them connect with each other and learn also as much on the human side than on the technical side, so that they can, be part of a community afterwards, which will also help them, reaching their goals and grow as professionals.
I see. So besides providing them training on how to learn how to code, what are the other aspects of the program, right? When you talked about, human connections, what are the biggest takeaways that you experience as a part of the program besides learning how to code? How do they help each other out, share the knowledge? Can you speak to some of those?
So we help them connect through a really intense event program, an event framework that starts from day one, and that also keeps running after the bootcamp.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So even when the 2 months are over, they are still part of this, alumni community and can keep learning, keep connecting with each other, and keep growing as professionals. So our mission is to help them, not just for 2 months, but for a lifelong.
It's a lifelong journey. It doesn't end at 2 months, right? So 2 months is enough to get you the skills, get you comfortable, start building a community, and then what you do after that 2 months is much more powerful and long-lasting to the vision that you're trying to solve. Is that correct? Yeah.
Yeah, correct. And that's also a way to differentiates our bootcamp from others that are mainly focused on the 2 months in training experience.
Great. So during the boot camp, if I were to join that, I'll be learning how to code from my comfort of my home, or do I have to go to one central place? How do I interact and get the journey started? Can you speak a little bit about how the program works?
Yeah. So it's an in-person boot camp.
Oh, okay.
With teachers that are always around to answer your questions and make you give the maximum of yourself. So we started in Paris 5 years ago with the first location, and then we grew to 35 campuses around the world.
Oh, wow.
In Europe, in America, in Asia, and everywhere we have a campus where students are going day after day for 2 months and connecting, learning together, and then they can come back after the bootcamp, to look for opportunities to work from there, to also join Le Wagon as teachers.
Oh wow, okay. So that feeds into a cycle of recruiting teachers who can give it back to the community, right? What
True.
they learned, whatnot.
So 90% of our teaching staff is coming from the bootcamp. Actually, they are all former students.
So that is such an amazing and powerful story, right? You're not just consuming, you're essentially giving it back to the community, and then not just making that as a part of your living, but helping the next generation and the next set of people to grow those skills, and that stays with you for a long, long time, right? So tell me more about these campuses. How, do you partner with some universities or some places? How do you go about choosing locations? What are these campuses?
So the main characteristics that we look at are having a really nice place to work at, where you feel really at home, and you can give the best of yourself. For 2 months, it's really intense. So we want them to feel comfortable. We want them to be able to connect. It doesn't look like a typical working space.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and we want to be central as well. It's a location that is easier to join for anybody, and so that's the 2 main points.
Okay, and so that ecosystem keeps on feeding into that. That's fantastic. I'm just curious, once they graduate and have this community of alumni, right? Some make it to giving back by being a teacher.
True.
How much do they help each other out finding the next job or a next career in progress, right? You got the skills you needed, right? The next obvious step is now make that as a profession, right? And building that network, what's the impact do you see on people helping each other out to get a new job or make a transition and whatnot?
So we do our best through events to connect them. We also have we use Slack as an online platform so that everybody can reach out to former students, ask questions, help each other out. We also built an internal contact list of all of former alumni to be able to see what they're doing now, just like any school would do. And we also have career departments in each city that can help out the students to get their first professional experience after the bootcamp.
Awesome. Are you seeing more companies who are looking for talent, right? Tapping into your program, saying, hey, looking out for I'm gonna get these graduates coming out with these skills, let me partner with you, right? And then see if there's a way for them to fill out that gap of human capital in a way. Is that something the community is working on, or are you seeing the signs of that?
Yeah, we are always willing to partner with other companies to bring more value and more knowledge to our community of students and former students, to keep them to help them learn in the long run.
Right.
Also, what's interesting in this community, so it's a technical community. It's also an international one.
Right.
It's a community with people who are all going to the tech sector, but with different purposes. They're not all turning to developers.
Yeah.
So others will just go to product management positions or growth marketing positions, or others will just start their own company.
Yeah.
So all these profiles are all helping each other out with their expertise.
So they're gaining these supplementary skills that help them do their core job, right? You can be in marketing, but if you know how to code, those mundane tasks become so easy in a way, and it gives you edge in your career compared to the rest of the population. So that is powerful. Thinking about this, you said you've been there for 4 years. Are there any stories that you can share that the individual started from nowhere, came to the boot camp, learned how to code, and made a name for himself or herself? Some story that you can share that is very powerful and has an emotion connect with your.
Yeah, so we have tons of beautiful professional stories, former musicians, former teachers, English teachers, former lawyers, who then turned to developers sometimes or entrepreneurs and started their own company, and then grew so that they came back to Le Wagon to hire more candidates,
Wow.
more profiles, and a few of them already sold their companies that they started right after le Wagon.
I
So we have a lot of interesting stories. For example, in the last batch, we had a former monk who decided to change career
Oh wow.
and turn to development, and he just got hired as a junior developer in a digital agency in Paris.
That is so powerful.
So all these stories are really inspiring, and they are helping all the new students to project themselves in the next steps
That's
in this career change.
That is so powerful. That is so amazing. You know, at times, you know, I every now and then you wonder, like, you know, most of the people end up being in a profession and career, not always by choice, right? You know, it was some circumstances or some situation presented themselves and then took a path, right? And they went in one direction, but they're somewhere deep down, they have a different passion. They want to do, maybe, you know, be a developer or learn how the technology works, right? Or build their skills around them and how the world's changing, right? And providing a platform and a community like that, right? Where they can trust, they can bring their authentic self and then learn and then change a career. Like the story that you told about Monk it's just mind-boggling, right? It probably would not be possible. Like, you know, can you just imagining that individual living or thinking about this dream and not having resources and where to start, that fear that you have, like, you know, where do I start? It's not that easy to overcome, right? And then building that platform is really, really powerful. Thank you, right? You know, I think there's lots and lots of people who can benefit from initiative like that. So I'm wondering, you know, what's next besides Europe? Like, you know, what are the plans for you guys to expand this learning across different countries, or probably places where there are more individuals that are less privileged, right, and can benefit from this?
True. That's where we're going. So
Okay.
still trying to expand the company geographically, but also on other subjects. So we are also launching a new bootcamp next year about data science that will also enable people to change career and go to data science jobs afterwards, and maybe other themes like this in the future. We also launched a part-time bootcamp, which is exactly the same content as the first one, but over 24 weeks for people who already have a job and cannot, you know, set themselves free for 2 months to follow the first course, the first bootcamp. So it's new initiatives that enable more people to acquire these skills.
I see. Yeah. Can you talk about some of the challenges, right? Because building a community is really, really hard, right? And if you do it right, it is so valuable and powerful, right? So I'm pretty sure there are multiple challenges that you went through, right, to be where you're at right now. What are some of those things that come to your mind right away? Like, boy, that was some experience, right?
I mean, the challenges that we face to build a community. So I think the first thing is to provide the best learning experience that can be. These people, you know, to change career, they're facing like great difficulties. So the better we can help them in this change, the more thankful they will be afterwards. So also this training is really intense. So it really encourages people to stick together, to build great connections and to help each other out. And this is also one of the key things that makes them build a really solid links with each other afterwards.
Right. So if I'm hearing you right, the first hardest part is to make that first jump. Like, yes, I want to do that. That's the barriers taken out. And once you've made the jump, the other part is, how do I stay motivated, right? Because it's not a muscle that you have from day one. You're in the process of building that muscle, right? And then there's always a chance of dropping out, right? You know, maybe I don't want to do this. Maybe, you know, have that second thought, right? So I think those are some of the challenges that you expressed that you're trying to solve through community, right? So what are some of the tricks and tips that you can share with the rest of the founders that you have learned in that journey to see, you know, how do you keep people motivated, right?
So first of all, they're always surrounded by the team, by their batch buddies. So they're never by themselves, and sometimes they wonder, and if they are on the right track.
Right.
But all these people around them, and the passionate teachers, passionate staff members, and also the people who are taking this jump at the same time as them, prevents them from
I see. So
doubting and changing their minds. So then, and they know that before them, more than 6,000 people have made the jump through Le Wagon successfully.
Right.
So it also encourages them to stick to their plan, their first plan, and to reach their goals.
So I think what I'm hearing is the key here is that it's not the peer pressure, but it's a peer support.
You're right.
Right? It's that, replacing that aspect and I'm here to help, right?
Yeah.
Let's do this together has been the biggest key to the success.
True.
Right? That is powerful, right? And again, that's one of those ways, people at times forget to be kind to themselves, right? And this is one of those examples. If you be kind to yourself, it is very easy to be kind to others and then help build that whole support ecosystem around it. So that is very, very powerful, right? So let's talk a little bit about technology in a way, right? So how is technology helping you achieve this goal, right? I'm pretty sure there's courses that you write, there's teachers, there's human capital that we need to move, there are things around finding locations to run the classes and whatnot, but then somewhere deep down, technology is helping getting all these things together. Can you talk a little bit about how you're using some of the technologies to solve these problems?
So we actually built a tech platform that helps us run all the boot camps from day one, where students connect and then can follow all the classes, all the exercises, and until the end of the boot camp. So that's one point, but technology here is just supporting all the, I would say, the offline investment from the staff and the teaching staff. So it's only like an add-on. So all the value that Le Wagon provides is from its in-person classes, in-person courses that will not be replaced by technology, but just enhanced by the technological platform.
Right, so it's just enhancing the overall experience, right?
Sure.
And getting over those hurdles in that perspective, right?
And it makes it even better.
Right. So how do you decide this is the next course or this is the next market that I want to go after? Where do you get that feedback from?
First of all, for example, when we decide to launch Le Wagon in a new city, it's mainly coming from former students, people who joined the course and then go back to their hometown and want to start a new chapter.
I see.
So most of the growth is coming from the community itself as well.
That's fascinating. So tell me more about that, right? So if I'm a graduate from here, and if I were to take this learning to another city, I would reach out to you and say, hey, let's start a newer community here and run these programs because there's an appetite for here.
True. And then then we interview, of course, the person that we already know quite well through the boot camp, and then we see if there is a market there. And after all that verifications, then if it's okay, then we provide access to the educational platform, so that the person can launch its own chapter of the bootcamp.
That's awesome. So that person feels empowered to be a CEO of his own chapter and then run the whole program and spread.
True.
That is super powerful, right? So this cascading effect, right? It's growing organically, right? And you said you're around 50 different countries right now?
35.
35, right?
Campuses over 25 countries.
And how fast that growth has been? Is it over the last 4 years or most of it came last year?
Over the past 4 years.
Okay.
It started, Le Wagon was 2 years old when the geographical expansion began. And then gradually, organically, we've been expanding to more countries and reached this point of 35 campuses right now.
Are there any challenges that you can share with the community around, expanding to new markets and some of the difficulties that they can face when they're thinking about taking their business to a newer market, newer economy? Are there any learnings?
For example, price issues,
yeah.
because the living standards are not the same everywhere. Also, other challenges coming from competition as well, because some markets are not as mature as others, where you already have a lot of offer in technological boot camps, and other markets where it's totally new. So you need to educate people about this new type of training that you can take whenever you want during your professional career to open to new opportunities.
Right. These are some real challenges, right? I mean, the economies, the finance part is also really critical, right? People do want to learn, and obviously might not be in a right position or situation to self-fund in that perspective, right? What are some of the things that you're trying to do to help solve that kind of a problem, right? Are there any programs that for people that are less privileged to be part of the system and then grow from there?
Yeah, as much as we can, we try to either partner with companies to offer scholarships for people that cannot finance themselves the program, or with the state to offer a program for people who are less represented in the tech community and who want to learn these skills.
Right, so you're finding a good amount of support from, say, government or an organization that are just doing a good charity work and things like that, right? You do tend to partner with those and then help evolve.
True. Something that we do more and more.
To
bring access to more people, to give the access to this technical knowledge to more people.
So you briefly talked about competition, right? So what are some of the things that sets your platform apart from the competition? Why you think this is the right way? And if there's one thing that you could change, what would that be?
The thing that sets us apart from competition, I think it's our vision of the community that we're building. So it's the community aspect of Le Wagon. Yes. So of course people come and get technical knowledge and technical skills, but what they get on top of that is this access to a beautiful and really powerful community of tech employees, tech entrepreneurs, who are all helping each other out, helping each other access their new professional.
So it's more of a lifelong relation than one-off learn, like what the competition is.
Yeah, so it's not only 2 months of learning things. It's as you said, lifelong community that you join, and that will help you learn, connect, and grow until the end.
Right now, that's pretty powerful, right? So, what has been the most satisfying aspect of your job so far, right? What makes every day when you go home, like what is that one thing that makes you really happy and excited about going back to work tomorrow, saying, this is something that I did and this is why I'm doing this?
Okay, so the first thing that is the biggest motivation is the candidates. Seeing these people applying to Le Wagon, having these professional goals of a career change they want to undertake, and then showing motivation, getting into the boot camp, going through the boot camp till the end, and then succeeding in changing career is the most satisfying thing that we see, and that drives us and makes us really happy to get back to work every day.
That's awesome, right? And there are very few professions where you get this opportunity to change people's lives, right? So there's the cause and behind the initiative is really powerful, right? And hence I'm personally convinced that it has more legs, right, to the initiative, more than 35 countries. I'm super excited personally to see where the Wagon goes from here beyond Europe, right? Maybe places like Africa, India, right, where there is an opportunity to grow in a much dramatic level, right, and provide the similar solutions at probably at low cost, right, and then make a much bigger impact, right, And I would love to learn some of your thoughts and thinking around that. Like, where do you see the company go in a year, 2 or 5 from now, right? What kind of a brand would you like it to be?
So, as you said, giving access to this knowledge to more people, more countries, with different models maybe that are more accessible. So we are still working on this, and then hopefully we can get to these levels in the next few years.
Right, but it is definitely sounds like it is on the agenda, and that's something
It is.
that yes.
It is.
And do you find it difficult to manage a different cultures and individuals being part of this larger community, right? As you imagine, as you make entry into different markets, right? Obviously, people are different. They have different choices. The communities are different. How they interact with each other is different, right? How they ask for help is different, right? And how are you thinking about solving those problems? And how are you thinking about bringing people from different mindset and different culture together among a single goal?
So it's true that there are new challenges that we are facing because of the growth of the community. But what's helped us manage these challenges is that all the people who join the bootcamp have exactly the same experience, same learning experience, same values that are shared with them, and same let's say mindset. So all these people, whatever the location, share the same mindset, the same same goal to change career,
Right.
go into tech. So it really helps them connect.
I see.
And they share so much in the beginning that in the end those challenges are a bit less.
Yeah. To summarize, it sounds like you're leading with values and culture, right?
True.
And that essentially, once you have that foundation, regardless of a community and the language they speak, the barriers, the mission becomes simple. Is that correct?
Yes, the mission becomes a bit easier.
Yeah. So it sounds like the foundation of the company is pretty heavily focused towards having a single culture that can speak a universal language.
Exactly. So that's why we are focusing that much on the experience, the first experience that all these people have with the Wagon, and then when they finish the bootcamp, it's easier to help them connect and help each other out.
That's great, right? And how is being in a part of Hatch program has helped you out, right? Being a DigitalOcean, using DigitalOcean as a technology provider help you out, right? Because there are some of the similarities that we can draw, like at DO, community is a very big piece of who we are, right? It's actually one of our values that says community is bigger than us, right? And we start everything from there, right? There's so many times that I've had customers come in and say, what, I love your tutorials, right? That's how I started learning about software. That's how I started learning about Nginx, right? And technology. And then they feed into the platform and then start their journey. So there's quite a bit of similarities along what we're trying to solve. So I'm just curious to see how Hatch, or being a part of Hatch, or using DigitalOcean platform has helped you grow and the community in general.
True. So first of all, I think that's why DigitalOcean and Le Wagon connected so well.
Yeah.
It's because we share, I think, the same vision about the communities that we build, and how we help them succeed. We've been like a client of your solution, and for all on purposes, and we loved it, and that was one of the first reasons we wanted to get in touch and see what we could do together. Hatch for us is more a way to provide an amazing support for Le Wagon entrepreneurs, so or alumni who leave the bootcamp and want to start their own companies, and then join
forces.
A program like Hatch to be able to be supported, be mentored, and go further and grow in a faster way.
That's awesome, right? So there's a way where you provide a platform for them to learn the technology, and when they want to start their entrepreneur journey, Hatch comes in and helps them out to make that next step to essentially go from there. And the lifelong relation that you have with the community, right, that feeds back into the whole ecosystem, so I can see how the flywheel works, right? And I'm super excited about that opportunity on our side, and create these, provide these opportunities to people to build their own businesses, achieve their dreams. You know, there's nothing more satisfying than that, right? It's just, at the end of the day, if you can go back and tell a story that, you know, these are the individuals that I helped get better. And through our means, they built a few things that helped change the community, that helped change the world to an extent. There's nothing powerful than that, right?
Let's keep doing this together.
100%. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Jim.
It's been a pleasure. Thanks. Yes.